What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. Well, something very, very profound has happened. Many of you are probably aware of it, but we're going to go even deeper into it. And I am talking about yesterday, for the first time in history, the United States government began to release some of their files about what's happening with UFOs, UAPs. Government disclosure has begun. Now, it's not aliens landing on the White House lawn, and it's not President Trump with a little gray alien around his arm, but it's a very, very significant development. And so when that happened, I kind of shifted the course of the show a little bit and immediately asked Alan Steinfeld if he would come on, because he is Mr. Making Contact. He wrote the book, and he knows as much about what's going on in this world as anybody. So we're going to hear from Alan right away. But we also have some other wonderful guests planned, and I should be showing Alan while I talk about this. There he is. We also want to understand, okay, what does this really mean? I mean, so much is going on in the world. So we have brought on our favorite astrologer, and that is Maggie Engel Bernstein. Very happy that she has that new last name, because that means she's married to our beloved Magic Bernstein. And she's going to really help us to understand what's happening astrologically and how to work with all of that. A little bit later on, we're going to have JJ and Desiree Hertuck also coming on to share with us what this really means with government disclosure. And to integrate all of this, we need a lot of music. So we've got a fantastic evening of music planned. Our beautiful beloved brother Cornflower is back with us, and we're going to rock and roll with him 2 times tonight. And that, of course, means, by the way, Scotty Satori is with us, and we love Scotty, and we're going to be focusing a lot on Scotty as well tonight and his healing journey. Speaking of healing journey, Desiree will be with us providing prayer, and we have more music with Indigo Prophet Tarek Bibi and his partner, Keri. They're going to provide some music for us early on in the show. And finally, speaking of music, of course, we want to start the show with the way that we always love to start our show. Our beloved co-host, house musical artist, the one, the only, the myth, the legend, Mr. Omashar.
Greetings, earthlings. I've seen too much to deny anymore. I'm finding out where I'm hurting hurting. The journey now is liberating, breaking down walls inside me. And now the door within my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing out the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight as I climb aboard this ship of wonders. Beauty abounds in my life. I've seen it all through my own eyes. Heaven and earth are merging, and now the door within my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing out the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight, and I know that I am crossing over, letting go of all that keeps me from my birth, taking steps into my highest journey. Joined together we will create heaven. And look now, the door to my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing out the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight, and I know that I am crossing over, letting go of all that keeps me from my birth, taking stops into my highest journey. Joined together we will create heaven on this
Wow. Absolutely. Wow. Let's go to gallery view. Now, I know I've heard that song before, but it sounded different this time. Did you played something differently?
You know what? I think it is as we all rise in consciousness, we actually get to listen to the music, because otherwise it's background music. And I was thinking before the show that, you know, Scott curates every single aspect of this show, and everything is geared to awaken consciousness, from the music to the presenters, etc., etc. So anyway, that's my spiel for now. I just thought I'd share that. And yes, and so fun putting this little video together of all the UFO things that I could find. So anyway, thank you, Alan, beloved brother. It's this is your craft waiting for you. So there it is.
Well, the combination of that song and the amazing video you put together, Bashar, thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And the perfect lead in to our beloved brother, Alan Steinfeld. All right, Alan, it's happening. What's your take? And what's you have your finger on the pulse of so many people. Are people excited? Are they disappointed? Are they skeptical? What do you think?
Well, it depends who you talk to. If you talk to the people in the UFO field, which I talk to a lot, they're a little disappointed. But the key point is here, this was a day in history. May 8th, 2026, 162 new files, some of them have been out there, have been released to the public, but it's the news media, it's CNN, CBS, NBC, all Fox News, they've all picking up on the story, which makes our mission a lot more accessible to the people. They're saying, what? There really is something here. Here's some footage. The footage isn't anything earth-shaking, but the consciousness, what comes along with this, the awareness, the fact that UFOs are now acknowledged by the government, which they've been lied to us to about for 80 years. Trump says, here it is. They're not interpreting it. Do with it what you want. Have fun, which is a little strange way. They're not putting a narrative to it. So what this does, I put a few things. It wakes people up to know there's something more to reality, that the world is not what we've been told it is. Now, that's really key. People identify with their sense of space and time and who they are. So people are expanding the sense of self, or some are contracting, but we're part of a greater galactic community. The world is not what we've been told. The government has not been telling us the truth. That's another revelation. And reality is not what we think it is. So this changes the acknowledgement of UFOs, whatever they are, because they're not talking about, that's the downside. They're not talking about who's in these craft, where they're from, where are the bodies, which they have. But the upside is this has potential to change our understanding of history, which it has to do. It means we're interacting with a greater consciousness of biology. Obviously, evolution is not just a chance mutation where we live in a dead universe, which is what Darwinian evolution tells us. So biology, evolution, technology, whatever these craft are, and there's a lot of pictures in this 162 files and strange objects too, of these starfish and these strange sigil 8-pointed thing. But whatever it is, they're not filling up their gas tank to get here. This changes the potential, right? This changes the potential for getting off the addiction to fossil fuel, if they really are fossil fuel. So it changes the potential of technology. And the big thing is consciousness. So it's not like Jacques Vallée said, I'd be very disappointed if we're just seeing alien tourists from another planet. There's something else going on, this interface with human consciousness, because there's a telepathic component. There's synchronicities, there's symbolic metaphors that show up. And it affects people neurologically. When you see a UFO, something is switched on in your brain. Even if you're traumatized, there's something else. So it's not just about information. It's about who we are and how we're changing to expand our consciousness, to realize we're part of something bigger. So what I predict for this time, this is going to spark a renaissance in arts, in music, in creativity, in the expansion of the human being, human potential in ways we have not seen before. That's the byproduct of knowing we're part of a bigger reality. So I'm excited. Even though we didn't get much, we got noticed. And the notice went out to the world that something else is going on than we have yet to fathom. So a lot of normal people are waking up. A lot of people have already been in this, say, okay, give us the meat, show us the aliens, show us the body, show us the craft, and tell us what you've been hiding and why you've been hiding this secret for at least 80 or more years. That's the big mystery. Who's hiding it? Why is it being hidden? And what is the secret behind the secret? So I'm excited about that and more files being released and what Spielberg has to say. So that's a little taste, Scott, of the excitement that the world and you. Yeah.
And
That's
I've got
great.
a thought
Go
and
ahead.
a couple questions for you. And I'm also
Sure.
tracking what's going on in the chat box. And definitely, I want to hear from our global peace tribers that are in the Zoom room. Let us know, what are your thoughts?
Right. So your question, you muted. I want to hear every question you have, Scott. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I heard earlier, Alan did a wonderful interview with Steve Bassett and Brian Bell, which you can find on Alan's YouTube channel, New Realities, which I encourage all of you
I'll
to
put it in the
do.
chat.
Yeah,
I'll
pop
put
it
it in the
chat.
chat here.
Because there's a lot of great interviews there with all the top leading UFO researchers. Let's talk about the oncological concerns. The thought that obviously for those of us who have been in this field for a long time, we're disappointed because they only gave a little teeny itty bitty bit. But do you believe that there is a wisdom to slowly releasing little bits so that people can slowly adjust? Or do you think that's more just part of a larger government almost deception to keep us from really getting to the important stuff of, like you just asked, the important things are who is visiting us, what's our relationship with them, what are your thoughts on that, Alan?
Well, that's a really good question. For me, it's hard to say. I just say release it all at once. Tell us, it's going to be a great awakening for people who've been asleep and people who've been denying this. But I'm also thinking of people just getting used to the idea that we're not alone in the universe. That is a tremendous paradigm shift. It's a tremendous shift in people's sense of self, their sense of time and space. So maybe there is a little strategy to this slow leaking release. I say, because, me and you, Scott, you've been doing programs on that since the 80s, that we have the right to know everything. And people like Linda Moulton Howe said, they've been covering up the truth for 80 years. Just let it out. But there might be some wisdom. So I'm answering yes and no. I think for most people, it's a rude awakening, and it's awakening that needs to happen. If I was going to lead to one side or the other, I'd say, just tell us everything now. Don't hold back. Maybe it's too much for people, but the truth, we deserve to hear the truth. That's my thing. There might be part of the DOD, or what's called the Department of War, now says, well, let's slowly leaking, but then the fear is, well, you're not going to tell us everything. So I'm just saying, I want to know it all now, because people like me and Stephen Bassett and you and Linda Moulton Howe and Whitley Strieber, we've invested pretty much all our mental energy into making this a reality. And we're right at that threshold. So it's really exciting, but it's like a Shakespearean drama. We're in Act 4. It doesn't resolve itself to Act 5, but Act 4 is where all the action comes together, and which way are we going to go? So I think we're closer than ever, obviously, and we need more people to stand up and say, we want the truth now. So let's have it. Bring it on. And of course, Spielberg's movie, June 12th, being released, Disclosure Day, maybe that's what you said before the show, this next batch of files, we have 162 yesterday, and maybe the hardcore stuff will come out on Disclosure Day and be Disclosure Day. That's what they called yesterday, Disclosure Day. I call it I told you so day. Disclosure.
Yeah.
Disclosure is yet to be here. It's yet to show up. We're yet to see the bodies. We're yet to get the confirmation. But it's so exciting that progress, whatever that is inching forward. And our day has arrived, and it's arriving. So,
was there anything that was released yesterday that was new to you?
Yes, there's this strange image, it's like an 8-pointed star. Have you seen that? It's like,
No.
I don't know if I can pull that up on my desktop, but it's a very strange, I don't know what it is, but it's 8 points, and it looks like some kind of sigil. Really, it looks like maybe you could find that if you go to the file, Scott, because it's something that I don't know if I could bring it up here, but
I'm
yeah,
not going to be able to track it myself because I'm doing too much here on my small
okay,
computer.
I'll see if I can
But
find that.
if you find it, or if anybody else can find it,
It's
send it to me as a direct message in the chat box, and I can post the picture or whatever it might be.
Oh, I think I could send it to you in the chat. That's a good idea. I was going to send it to you. I copied it and okay, let me just copy this and send it to you in the chat box. Okay, and then you can post it. So that was new to me. Some of these configurations. Also, what it was new to me is some of the shots from the moon landing, Apollo 11 and 17, all saw strange phenomena over the moon's surface. So there was that too that was very shocking and surprising. So there is some stuff, along with a lot of other stuff that people have seen and files, clips from newspapers. So it was a very mixed bag of things we've known and things we have yet to know. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can find out any more questions. What do you think of the fact that why do you think, Scott, this has been such a big secret? Could it be about alien? I mean, what is so shocking about aliens being here? I mean, I don't understand why it was a secret to begin with.
Well, I can answer that while you look for that thing. I'm going to respond for a moment. You have to remember that the majority of people on this planet are deeply religious. They're Christian, or they're Jewish, or they're Hindu, or they're Muslim, or they're Buddhist, the 5 big religions, and then all the little ones. And none of those religions preach that we are a hybrid species, and that aliens created us, created the human species. Nobody's teaching us that. So I think that those of us that are in the know, that have been around all this, that, we're pretty much in the camp that not only are there major extraterrestrial influences on our planet, but the actual human species is a hybrid, that the missing link was that some form of extraterrestrial DNA merged with Neanderthal or some sort of primeval man to create Lucy, the original being that we all have descended from. That goes against a lot of religion. That goes against what a lot of people believe. And so that's a big deal. And it's my understanding is that for a long time, it was the Vatican that was stopping disclosure from happening. And then not the current Pope, but the Pope before him actually was open to disclosure. But at that point, then the big, as we know from Danny Sheehan, what's stopping disclosure is Lockheed Martin and the other big military industrial companies. And this is an important thing to know. When the crashes happen and these UFOs are recovered, the government doesn't keep them as government property. They immediately turn them over to independent companies like Lockheed Martin, who then want to reverse engineer this technology and, my God, create technology that has a value in the trillions.
Right. And the government, military insiders are getting a kickback, I think, from turning that over to these private industries, which is highly illegal. If they find these crash retrievals that belong to the American people that are paying the government, the army, military to retrieve these things, and then they give it away. So Danny Sheehan saying this is highly illegal. And so Congress needs to stand up and say, the American people need to benefit from the reverse technology that's been made from this phenomena. So also, I wanted to say, Grace says, what is the potential for a greater acceptance of the presence of UFOs to help our current global situation? It obviously puts us as one planet. We are one human civilization separated by artificial borders and fabricated belief systems. And we are really part of a bigger thing as a human race, and it's part of a galactic community. So it unites us. It really is a positive upswing in who we are as a collective of people that just want to live their life. Most people are really friendly. You travel around the world, they're not interested in war. They're interested in just having a good life and loving their family, taking care of things, and being happy. It's just a few, I would say, power brokers in the world that are kind of creating the chaos for all of us. And we know who some of those people are. So that picture I posted, do you see it, Scott?
Yep. Yeah. I've got it. I'm ready to show. So here it is.
Okay.
So this is one of the files that they released yesterday. And what did they say about it, Ellen? Do you remember?
Well, it's just something that someone photographed in the sky, and it has these actually 8 points, and it's in the sky. It's floating around. I mean, I think it's for real. It was in the government files and was part of the unidentified UFO craft. So it's very strange. Maybe it's a government satellite or sorts, or maybe it's hard to know because we're not getting the whole truth. We're getting breadcrumbs, but at least we're being fed with some breadcrumbs. So I think there's also these jellyfish type things that have been photographed look through, I think it's Department of War.gov/UFO. I'll find that. I'll put that in the chat where people can look through these. I think the stuff on the moon is very interesting because, people have talked about what Neil Armstrong may have seen. The other thing is that there's other government offices, one called AARO, the Anomalous Aerospace, and they are saying there's no connection between unidentified flying objects and aliens. They're still saying that. Obviously, these objects, or some of them, are not made, and this is what Elizondo says, by any government or military on Earth, but they're not willing to say the A word or the E word, alien ETs. But this is what is the next phase that we have to speak to, that human life is sacred and beautiful, but it's not the only form of intelligent life, if it is intelligent, out there in the cosmos. We have connection, and we are a hybrid. I do agree with you. Our DNA, Gary Nolan says DNA, who's he's a biologist. He says DNA is 9 billion years old if you look at the intricacies of it, and the Earth is only 4.5 billion years old. So obviously, whatever this molecule of life is, it's come here from someone else if you listen to that biology. So what I say is we're in really exciting times. Pay attention. It's time to wake up, smell the coffee, and know we're part of a much bigger cosmology. And they have information for us if we can just get our act together, if we can just clean up our planet. My favorite line is, your mother would say, you're not going to have company until you clean up your room. We have to clean up our room if we really want company. And they are here waiting for us to get our act together. That's my belief. We'll see how it unfolds. And I think it's a very positive time.
All right. Thank you, Alan, I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for jumping in spontaneously and giving us this little update. Want to encourage everyone to please tune into New Realities. Also get the book. And Alan, please put
Come to Contact in the Desert.
And come to Contact in the Desert. I'm planning on being there. Alan and I are going to do a full show together on May 20th. We're going to have our next Making Contact edition of the show. So the whole show will be dedicated to what's happening. And we're going to have Captain Ron. And Captain Ron is the creator of Contact in the Desert. And Alan, tell people a little bit about Contact in the Desert. Why should they go?
This is its 15th year. It is like the Woodstock of UFO Festival. It's where the community comes together. People like Eric Davis are going to be there. Jacques Vallée, the godfather of ufology. He goes back to the 50s. They're very important. George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell. These are people who are the all-stars, JJ and Desiree Hurtak, the all-stars of our community coming together, comparing notes, and taking it all to another level. It's where anyone could show up and and rub shoulders with people who've devoted their lives to this phenomena. Whitley Strieber is going to be there. Who else? There it is. And if you use the Captain 10 code, you can get a discount. Diane Powell, who discovered that these autistic kids are telepathic, and obviously the language of the universe is telepathy. There's some of the all-stars. Eric Davis has been in the inside for the last 30 years. He reported to Congress about crash retrievals. Our good friend Jimmy Church is going to be. It's Dahlia Burgoyne, who teaches mind sight, seeing through blindfold. Beatrice Villarola has taken pictures of stars or seen pictures from the 50s to now and see what we thought were stars are really moving objects. That's Jeffrey Nuccitelli, just testified, military guy testified in front of Congress. Whitley Strieber, Avi Loeb, Chris Ramsey, Area 50, Richard Dolan's one of my favorite experts in the field, Thomas Campbell, a physicist, Chris Blutzo, he is like the UFO saint. Diane Paselka comes from a religious background, but she's very much studied the UFO phenomena with the American Cosmic. Julia Marsbridge talks about consciousness. Paul Hynek, related to, of course, his father, J. Allen Hynek, really is the one that inspired this movement. Carolyn Corey with the UFO movies, A Tear in the Sky. Paul Smith, one of the early remote viewers. Hakeem Isler is putting on the Psy Games. My good friend Stephen Bassett, who's been following us for a long time. Anthony Peake, who talks about consciousness, psychedelic. Thomas Janes, a Hollywood guy, but very much into UFOs, bringing forward that from the Hollywood angle. Sarah Brexman Cosme, past life therapist. Simeon Hine, very smart person dealing with remote viewing and consciousness. Ritzberg talking about the simulation hypothesis. Another brilliant guy. D. Prasad, he is a scientist who had encounter experience and completely changed his understanding of science. A really brilliant quantum physicist. Jason Quitt is great. Yvonne Smith is one of the original past does not remote viewing but regressions in the phenomena. Kelly Chase is great. There's Desiree and JJ Hertog. Alexis Brooks talks about the phenomenon, what the signs of contact are. Suzanne Manowitz is a good friend. She worked with John Mack. Brad Olson is a UFO historian. Bill Holman has the essence of the crystal skulls. The Mitchell has his skull. Ben Hansen, Eric Rankin takes people to the giant rock. Mike Zelinsnik, he teaches a mind sight. There I am. Katie Page grew up on a farm very much like the Skinwalker. There's Tom Danheiser, the producer for George Noory. Darcy Ware, UFO filmmaker. Let's see, Captain Ron himself. Alex Stefan, really good telekinesis. He's going to be doing telekinesis demonstrations. So this is a cast of characters you're not going to want to miss, and anyone can go and get a ticket and be part of a phenomena that is the only thing that's really happening around the world with this intensity about UFO knowledge and other high transformative conscious activities. So next time I'll play my show about that. Did you see it? My UFO anthem. Okay, Scott, thanks for the opportunity.
Alan, thanks for being with us tonight, brother. Thank you.
Okay, it's really
an
fun.
adventure. Let's see how it goes.
A whole new reality we're going into. Yes. Okay.
We're going to have a lot of wonderful music tonight because we definitely need the music to integrate everything that's happening. And I'm really excited because I got a response from Tarek, who we had on the show a couple of years ago through Soul Search. He said, hey, my partner and I have a new song. We want to share it and premiere it on your show. I said, let's do it. So Tarek Bibi and Keri are going to be sharing their version of the Rainbow Song, Home, and it's going to be released on May 30th with healing codes to feel at home. And so as our beings on this planet, he's a conscious rap artist. He has 5 healing albums online, 30 music videos shot in different parts of the world. He's always all over the place. And you'll find him under the name Indigo Prophet. And Keri Mukti is a spiritual singer, songwriter, and welcome both of you to the Awakening World.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you so much.
Thanks for having me back. And Keri is a dear friend of mine, and we're so honored to share the song "Home" for all the starseeds out there that feel like you're so far from home. We can always come back to that part within our being, no matter what happens on our planet, no matter where we are on the planet. There's always we can always come back to ourselves. And when the song's out, it's going to have a whole bunch of healings to heal. Not feeling at home. If you were in Atlantis and Atlantis sank and you experienced that, or if you feel like you're so far from your home planet, to heal that wound, because it's a real thing for us to feel, where is our home? So to heal that and to create safety within our nervous system with all the things happening on our planet. So there's a lot of healing in the song when it's out. And there's a video coming out soon. We'd love to come back here and share with you guys the full video with the magic of Costa Rica and the rivers and the mountains here.
And you're coming to us from Costa Rica right now.
Yes, sir. Chiripo, the sacred mountains of Costa Rica.
Wow.
Get on the mic a bit more, Tarek.
Yes, you got it, my man. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to hearing your song.
All right. Enjoy, guys. Soak it in. Thanks for letting us serenade you guys. Take it away, Keri.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here. Between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, the river so clear.
Psychedelic fun guys got me having fun times. I be doing deep dives, closing both of these eyes. Now we finally realize we can free our own minds. After every sunset, there will be a sunrise. Remember where you come from. Fear no need to run from. Following the natural flow, beat of our own drums. We shall overcome, not succumb to these dum-dums. No one can win until we have all won.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here. Between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear.
So clear.
River so clear. It went through the leaves. Found a place to live happily. Living is fantasy. With a rainbow family. Learning simplicity. Underneath the sacred tree, my eyes can finally see the truth of this reality. Let the rhythm flow and spirit coming true, and nowhere else to go and nothing else to do, 'cause I am home. I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here. Between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear.
So clear.
River so clear.
Yo. You could be the greatest, blessed and highly favored, burning of the sage and reading sacred pages, choosing what is safest, can't be overrated. Regardless of these obstacles, I know that we can make it. We are different races, come from different places, ready for the next evolutionary stages, mastering the basics, embracing what we're faced with, elevate, activate, remember you are sacred.
Home, I am home. Found a place to heal my soul.
My soul.
It is right here.
Right here.
We are right here. Between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear.
So clear.
The river so clear.
So clear.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here. Between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear. The river so clear.
Wow. We're going to go to gallery view for a moment, and I want to send them both lots of hearts, lots of appreciation. What a beautiful juxtaposition between her very feminine, etheric voice, and then your rap. I think that's a great juxtaposition, and I really
Thanks,
enjoyed
Scott.
it very, very much.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you
A
guys.
few,
We'll put our music links in the chat for you guys.
I want to read a few of the comments that are coming in. I'm going to go back to the two of you while we're seeing this. Omoshar writes, perfect transmission, both of you. Thank you. Dr. Laura writes, you two are fabulous. Such a beautiful voice. New realities. Here we go. Scotty Sue says, if you need a shot of vibes up in the morning, put on Infinite One from Tarek. And again, you can find him, Indigo Prophet, all over places that you get music.
Thanks, Scotty. Appreciate it.
Kathy writes, I feel the resonance with Keri's voice, and I love Tarek too. He's also a fantastic healer. Aha. Maggie writes, so beautiful. Such a lovely, lovely, loving transmission. Thank you both so much. And yeah, when your video is ready, let us know, and we will look forward to having you back on the show. But thanks for dropping in. Did the aliens drop you off? Or you gonna zoom back to Costa Rica?
Yeah, we are the aliens, and we are the disclosure. We are that, all of us here. Yeah,
All
love
of
you
those
guys.
things. All right. Thank you so much.
Scott.
See you soon. Stick around. We've got a great show ahead. Well, speaking of great show ahead, we're kind of now coming into the centerpiece of the show because, of course, obviously we talked about disclosure, but there's so many other things going on in the world. Many people believe we are closer to the possibility of nuclear war than at any other time since Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nobody really knows what's going to come out of the current crisis and war that's happening in the Middle East. Climate change. I mean, I think we all know that climate change is this very real thing, and most of us have been impacted either through wildfires or increased hurricanes, and all the other craziness going on in the world. So it's like, wow, what's going on? Well, fortunately, we have Maggie Engel Bernstein with us tonight. And she is an incredible world-class astrologer. And just yesterday, I had the wonderful blessing of receiving a reading from her. Now, I'm 70 years old. I've been around a long time. I've had a lot of astrology readings, a lot of people reading my chart. I got more out of the reading from Maggie yesterday than I've ever had because it was very clear. And she's so tapped in. And she's got this beautiful combination of looking at it and seeing the astrology and the science of the astrology, but then bringing it into helping me to understand how it impacts my life. And I have asked her to do the same thing for us. I am going to introduce a little bit more about her. For some of you who've seen her before, she was on the show before. But those of you that are new, she is an evolutionary intuitive astrologer, a sacred site retreat facilitator, an angel book author. We had her on the show about that before, and a registered hospice nurse. What an incredible combination of skills and the hospice work. I mean, she's just got this big heart, as well as this brilliant mind. And she's been doing hospice work for over 20 years, by the way. She started when she was 5. Through astrology, retreats, compassionate guidance, Maggie helps others reconnect with the sacredness of who they truly are, to awaken to the love and wisdom within. She brings a deep sensitivity to energetic and cosmic shifts, and she supports her clients, which hopefully are going to be some of you now, in really accessing and aligning your soul's path, navigating life with greater intention, presence, and heart. So we are blessed to have Maggie in our awakening world and in our presenter's chair tonight. And welcome back, Maggie.
Oh, thank you for having me, Scott. I'm so grateful to be here this evening, and what a special show to be on. Like it's amazing, this group of presenters, the musicians. It's such a lovely transmission of love that I feel like we're all basking in tonight. So I'm really, really grateful to be here tonight. And it's so synchronistically aligned too. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And I'm just going to ask you what's going on from an astrological point of view. Give us the lowdown.
So I'm gonna kind of give you a big picture and then kind of bring it into a more acute, like this moment. But I want to talk a lot about 2025 and 2026, and there are no other years like these years that we're living. Like I firmly know in my bones that we all came here right now at this time for this very specific moment in our human evolutionary history. And the energetics, the astrological energetics, first of all, astrology is it's just a tool to talk about the energy that we're all feeling and experiencing, right? So the energetics of the astrology tell us that we are in a moment of massive evolution in our human consciousness. And there's lots of different things that are showing this. The outer planets, they all have these longer orbits, and so longer orbits by meaning 3 years, 7 years, 14 years, 20 years. But what's happened from late 2024 to last month is all of the outer planets all change signs in a very short period of time. We can't really find a time in human history that this has ever happened before. Like it's not, we as astrologers, we can't find another time that they've all aligned in this change all at once. So when we have an outer planet move signs, it's a really big shift in consciousness that we all feel. But we've had like 7 outer planets all change signs in this very short period of time. And many of these outer planets, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, um, Pluto, they're all making really positive angles to one another. So they're all supporting one another in this evolution of consciousness that we're moving through. It's quite profound to feel it, and I'm sure we all feel it, and we can see it and experience it in our world. The I want to stay on track because there's so much to share. Some of what we're moving through around this massive awakening in consciousness that's happening right now is Uranus we call Uranus the Great Awakener. Uranus has one goal, and that's to raise the frequency, raise the vibration. And Uranus is the planetary ruler of the sign Aquarius. So in late 2024, we had Pluto move into Aquarius. So for the next 20 years, Pluto is going to be shifting our frequency, having us die to old collective frequencies. Pluto brings transformation, and it helps us to die to what no longer serves our evolutionary path here. So Pluto in Aquarius is having us die to the old frequencies and the old patterns of vibrating in ways that no longer serve us individually or collectively. And Uranus, the planet that is the ruler of Aquarius, just moved into Gemini at the very end of April 26th. And Uranus is awakening our minds in Gemini, awakening us to a new way of seeing, a new way of understanding what it is to be human here on this planet. And because Gemini is how we think, it's how we communicate, it's how we connect, it's what we know, it's the knowledge that we hold. So this planet of awakening is having us open our minds. 2 days before yesterday, when this disclosure happened, we had Pluto went retrograde in Aquarius, digging up information about this cosmic awakening that's happening. We are in a moment of cosmic awakening and awakening of a higher state of consciousness. And I want to focus more on the cosmic awakening because it's really in alignment with the show and what we're talking about right now. So Uranus because I could give you guys a 3-hour talk on astrology, and I don't have that long. So I wanna keep it in something that we can all digest here. But Uranus has been moving over the part of the zodiac that is connected to the Pleiades. Since the beginning of last year, Uranus has been moving back and forth over late Taurus and early Gemini, awakening our connection to the Pleiades. And that's awakening our connection to our cosmic consciousness and to all of this incredible cosmic wisdom that is out there for us to embody more, to awaken to more. And it's pouring down these energies, beautiful cosmic energies for us to connect to, like the Pleiadian blue rose. It's so strong in the field of consciousness. There's a massive angelic awakening that's happening. We had, with the last full moon in Scorpio, we had Venus conjunct the fixed star Aldebaran, which represents Archangel Michael, opening us up to this beautiful energy of Archangel Michael. We have a full moon in a couple of weeks that it's in about 3 weeks, that is conjunct the fixed stars. The full moon is conjunct the fixed star Antares, which represents Archangel Uriel, and the new moon is conjunct Aldebaran, or I'm sorry, the sun is conjunct Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael, again, awakening us more to this angelic consciousness. We are asked to really open up to receive more of these profound frequencies that are here for us, and to let ourselves be transformed, to let ourselves let the old karmic stories go, the old ways of vibrating, the old stories that kept us in the old patterns go, because they're here for us to see. The, you know, in the field of reality around us, we're seeing everything that still exists in the shadow. And if it's out there somewhere in us, we have stuff that we're not looking at. So the consciousness is asking for us to sit in stillness, open up to these beautiful energies that are here to assist us, and to come into greater union with ourselves. Chiron, which is the healing asteroid of the cosmic consciousness. We call him the wounded healer. Wherever he is transiting, though, he's bringing profound healing. And Chiron's been transiting Aries since 2018, and he'll be there till April of next year. So Chiron has been healing our connection with our humanity. What I would call the original wound, which is the wound of embodiment. When we drop into a body here and all of a sudden we have this perceived feeling of separation from source. So Chiron has been healing that perceived wound. In 2024, we had a new moon solar eclipse that was exactly to the minute conjunct Chiron. And this was a peak moment in this Chiron and Aries cycle, calling for us to come into deeper unity with ourselves, deeper unity into our, like, we're divine and we're human, right? And we're not separate from our divinity. We are our divinity. We're our divinity living in a human body here. And that's what's being healed right now. In February, we had Saturn and Neptune conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries for the first time in over 6,000 years. And that is a profound moment that marked this incredible moment in time of us coming into greater responsibility for embodying our divinity in our human story, right? For being God and human all at once. And that's what these next cycles are all about. How do we live embodied fully as God and human? Not up here and only in the light, and not down here and only in the ego. How do we divinitize our egos, right? And all of these cycles are pulling up all the ways that we are not there yet for us to see and for us to look at. But the beautiful thing about the cycles and where all the outer planets are is they're working in harmony. Over the next 3.5 years, Saturn is making us be responsible for our humanness, making us be responsible for our egos, making us be responsible for our actions and our behaviors and our masculine energy. Neptune in Aries over the next 14 years is dissolving our attachment to our ego identity, to all of the things that we've attached to and identified with, which are out of truth of the reality of who we really are. Like I said earlier, Pluto is having us die for the next 20 years to the frequency that no longer is here to be held in these bodies, the frequency of the old, the frequency of what has been that's not moving forward with us. And for the next 7 years, Uranus is awakening our minds. And so, and then they're all working together. They're all in this beautiful harmonious angle together. And the truth is, that's not what we're seeing in the external reality, because we have to dig up everything that is not that. And these planets will do that. They will dig up the old frequency. They will dig up the old pattern. They will have us see it so that we can take responsibility for it and transform it. And it starts, what these planets are really saying is it starts with us as the individual. What are we doing in our moment to moment embodiment to connect to our hearts and to our divinity in each and every now moment, and bring ourselves into union with all of our fragmented or shadow parts, or places where we're rejecting parts of ourselves? How do we dig that up and bring ourselves back into union, back into love, into the fullness of the love that we are? So the nodes are preparing to move into Aquarius. Wherever the North Node is, the North Node is pushing the evolution of consciousness. And wherever the South Node is we're releasing. So by about midsummer, the nodes are moving, and it's really beautiful because the North Node moving into Aquarius is having us focus on this higher frequency evolution into what's the best for the collective, into the highest good for all. And the South Node in Leo is having us release the heartbreak of the old story, the heartbreak of the old way. Like, we no longer have to play the old stories where we didn't get to create what our hearts came here to create. We have moved into a new era where we get to be the embodied co-creators of our lives here on earth. And all of the energies are supporting this, and it's happening. Manifestation is picking up. We have, after Uranus just finished its trek through Taurus over the last 7 years, elevating our sense of inherent worthiness. We are all inherently worthy to be embodied as full co-creators of our reality with Source here, to be directing our lives and creating from our hearts and manifesting from our hearts what our souls came here to do. And we now own that full inherent worth. We have the ability to. That template of consciousness is now fully offered to us. And we're stepping into that, and we're moving forward to that. So the key in these moments are to continue to bring ourselves back to our hearts in each and every now present moment. Continue to open up to connect to our inner guidance, to our source message. All of the answers that we need are right here. They're all right here. They are not out there. They are right here. So I'm so excited to share about this moment. I'm so excited that we're all here. I'm so excited that we're awakening more to the consciousness that is here for us, and that we're stepping forward in the evolution of this. We have a beautiful new moon next week on Saturday, Saturday, May 16th. We have a new moon at 25 degrees of Taurus. and it's activating the Pleiades. So there's been so much Pleiadian consciousness and so much cosmic consciousness that is just pouring down because of Uranus going over these points for the last year, but it's peaking with this new moon. And this new moon is also conjunct to the asteroid Ceres, and she's the divine earth mother of harvest. So new moons are their seeds being planted, their new cycles being started. And this is a new cycle. 25 is the grand master degree of spirit, of source. And this is a new moon where we can absolutely move into this embodiment of this inherent worth of reaping the harvest that we are here in her inherently worthy to open up to and to awaken to. We have Mercury at 28 degrees of Taurus, and all of this is in a conjunction to Uranus at 1 of Gemini. So we're here awakening to the new story where we hold the inherent worth of our divinity and our moment to moment reality and moving forward, manifesting from that place. It's profound. It's like the best new moon of the whole year. So I encourage all of us to get really intentional about this new moon, about what we're here to open up to. I know I spoke to the cosmic blue rose or the blue Pleiadian rose already. It's a huge signature with this new moon. It's a sacred tool that can help us to clear our fields. It brings divine feminine consciousness, wisdom. It helps us to, I'll put a blue rose in the middle of a room if I want energy to help to transmute and move. We can use it through our chakras. Like we're awakening more and more to our ability to direct our reality through our ability to manage energy with our beautiful cosmic, like natural powers that we have. We all can utilize these beautiful tools, and the energies want us to empower ourselves more, to ask for help more, to connect more, to talk to the angels, to talk to our beautiful cosmic helper beings. Like there is so much benefic energy that is here to help us. And not only help us, but to help everyone, right? We're in this beautiful community here. We are already awakening so much to the love that we are, and we're embodying that so much in our moment to moment reality. But think about the masses on this planet that are still asleep to so much of this consciousness. And we can utilize these beautiful tools to help, to direct. My beautiful beloved and I were just in Egypt, and I was sending blue Pleiadian roses to the leaders of the world. There's so much that we can do to help the consciousness align more with the unconditional love that we all are and the purity of our essence. And it's just a matter of being intentional, just a matter of being intentional with these energies in our moment to moment reality. And we can empower ourselves and we can empower everyone else around us and really effectuate massive change on this planet. As much as it seems like things are in some ways, like Scott said, it's looking scary, like nuclear war could come. You may hear some astrologers say that Pluto's where it was at, around the Revolutionary War. Uranus is where it was at during, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, and World War II. And Neptune's where it was at during the Civil War. That's all true. But we also have never been where we are now with this many people who are awakened to the love that they are and to the love that exists on this plane of reality. And all of those planets where they are about transforming consciousness. They're about shifting, and they're about claiming inherent power. I see that somebody wants me to speak about ascension symptoms. Absolutely. There's so much high frequency pouring into the planet, especially as Uranus has gone from 27 degrees of Taurus to 2 degrees of Gemini, which it will be there for about another month and a half. And so what that means is with Uranus going over the Pleiades, it's opening up this huge portal of all of this high frequency energy that's just pouring onto the planet. And we would all love to believe that high frequency is like, oh, that feels so nice and good. And and the truth is it's electricity. And yes, it can feel nice and good, but when it hits density, it can absolutely feel hard and it can feel heavy because it wants to move that density. It wants to shift that energy. So you could be feeling, I mean, really, honestly, since last fall, many people were feeling very tired. Um, yes, like water against a dam. Absolutely. It's like it, it brings a lot of fatigue. It can bring ringing in the ears. It can bring an electric feeling that feels uncomfortable in the body. It can bring anxiety. And it can be hard to sit still in the body with these high frequency energies. And the key with the Uranian energy is to be in non-resistance to it. All that it wants to do is to flow and to raise the frequency. And it will do that by any means necessary. And it will knock you down if it has to. But just listen. Listen to your body. Listen to what it needs. Drink lots of water. When your body says rest, rest. When your body says, some of you may need to move. You may need to like shake the energy out, right? There's lots of different ways to move the energy, but it's about being connected to your body and listening to your body. With all of this energy in Aries, with Saturn, Chiron, Neptune, we still have Mars in Aries. We've had a huge concentration in Aries. It's been very uncomfortable in our bodies to some degree, and we have to listen to them. That is one of the biggest keys with Saturn in Aries over the next 3 years is you have to get connected to your body and you have to listen to your body and you have to be responsible to hear the messages from your body and absolutely like listen to it. It's so important right now. Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn makes us be responsible. So when Saturn is in Aries, it says be responsible for your ego, be responsible for your body, and be responsible for listening to what your body is trying to tell you and the messages that it's bringing forth. Because our body is our sacred tool on this planet. It is how we hold these higher frequencies. And we're moving from having a lot of these higher frequencies up here to bringing them into the physicalized, embodied way and grounding that on this planet. And what we do will help us to ground that frequency even higher and help us to move the energies through. So listen, 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 and connect in as much as you can. Connect to your body, open up and listen and just be guided. Be guided, when you it's so beautiful, like when you hear a message to send a blue rose somewhere or send a white rose or connect with them. There's so many sacred tools that are here for us in the ethereal realms for us to utilize. So just open up and play. This is supposed to be fun. Like we are moving into a place of having fun with our growth and our evolution. Have fun. Be playful, be light as much as we can. And when we don't feel light, meet that, hold grace for it, and hold space for it. I'm so grateful to share, and I could keep going on, but I also want to leave room for questions.
Well, I want to read some of the wonderful comments coming in. First of all, Maggie, thank you for painting such an optimistic, inspirational understanding of what's happening. So I am going to read some of the comments that have come in, and I think there might be some questions there. Here we go. I want to go beyond the climate change conversation. Omoshar writes, absolute clarity, Maggie. Such sagacity. My heart has been thoroughly pinged with truth. Scotty Satori writes, we are hitting a high on YouTube tonight. That means that a lot of people are watching, which is great. DR points out the Gemini is fun and play. And Omoshar says, yeah, the body is the temple of the Most High. DR writes, so sweet and tender, Maggie. My body says yes. Grace Denise writes, I feel you are informing us of the possibility that transformation now is coming through love and greater consciousness rather than through more violence. Absolutely. And I love that that's what you're pointing out to us. Thank you so much. Susan Blomquist points out how so many people are doing big work helping those that are needs. You already spoke about ascension symptoms. Thank you very much. Connie Baxter Marlowe writes, wow, Maggie, brilliant, positive, and inspiring. Look at the energies that are supporting our journey on the evolutionary upward spiral. Such an important message, and so right on that you are supporting everything that I see. This is Connie, that Connie sees and knows to be true. So they're really resonating with you. Ayada writes, Maggie, that was incredible. Do you have that basic message in written form anywhere? We're going to go to her website in a moment. Thank you, Maggie. And I guess let's go to your website and then we'll take a look for any questions people might have.
Yeah.
But
And I'll share the best place to get written information for me is on my Facebook page. So I always do a new moon and a full moon write up. They're quite long, quite lengthy and full of information, and I always post them there on Facebook. So that's a great place to follow me and get the current, it's quite current because it's at least every 2 weeks, if not more.
beautiful. If you could put at some point, put the Facebook page in. We're going to take a look at your website, and her website is her name, Maggie Ann Engel, ENGEL.com. And you can book a session with her. Right off the bat, just click down. You can learn about her various services, her media. This is the website to go to. You can learn all about her intuitive astrology. And you do private readings for people, obviously, because you did the best reading I've ever had from me yesterday morning. And so this is where you can really find her and you can contact her and reach out to her. It's MaggieAnnEngel.com. But wait, there's more. Maggie is married to one of our favorite people, longtime friend and colleague, and at one time client of mine. She's married to Magic. And we've had Magic on the show talking about his retreats that he does all over the world. Well, now they're doing them together. And so I know you guys just got back from Egypt, and you do retreats in Mount Shasta, Maui. I think you're going to be doing Egypt once a year. And you can find out all about that by going to sacredvoyages.com. Sacredvoyages.com. See some of the pictures of the previous. What's next? What's your next sacred voyage, Maggie?
So on July 11th to 18th of this year, we're having our annual Mount Shasta retreat. So it's beautiful. It's such a profound year to open up to these retreats. These sacred vortexes on the land are quite profound to opening us up more to the love that we are and more to that higher frequency and catalyzing real profound change. So it's quite a year for it. And I'm really excited about the astrology around this year's Mount Shasta retreat. It's really supportive of a real deep dive. And it's going to be really beautiful. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out for more information about that.
And there are beautiful comments coming in, people really appreciating just how tender and practical this information has been for us. Are there any questions that anybody has before we move on? Any questions anybody has for Maggie? There's her Facebook page. Here it is. Dr. Laura asks, would you please tell us a little bit more about the dance between Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn, Neptune at this time? They are all trining each other. What is that all about?
So this is one of the most significant things that's happening, and it's over several years. The late 2020s will be really, this is a big theme. And it's been going on for about a year. There's what's called a mini triangle between most significantly Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries, and Uranus in Gemini. Saturn's been a part of it for the last year, but it's not really, it's moved on. It's gone further up into Aries, and it's not really going to come back too close to be a part of this. But this mini triangle, which is quite significant, is part of what's spurring this evolution of consciousness right now. So Neptune in Aries is dissolving these boundaries of the self, like the way that we've overly identified with our egoic consciousness and with material reality. Neptune is helping to basically dissolve that because Neptune dissolves boundaries. And it's at this, so Pluto's dissolving the frequency that keeps us in that old pattern, and Uranus is awakening us to the new story and to like the story that we're here to live and move forward with and awaken in our mind and start to weave into manifest reality. And so these planets are working together in this really beautiful mini triangle, which is a trine between Pluto and Uranus, and then Neptune's in a sextile to both of them. So that's a really supportive angle, and that goes on for really the next couple years. And we're going to see this play out, and it's going to help us to dissolve the attachment we have to the old self and to open up to who we really are in the essence and the fullness of us as divinity embodied here. So it's quite a profound moment in time. And really I've gone back and there has not been this type of astrology that I can really ever find, right? I haven't gone back past 5,000, 6,000 years, but at least not in the last 6,000 years. There's been nothing like this. So it's quite, I am so sure that we all came right now to help resolve some of the past that we've lived, some of our past karmic stories from our lifetimes in Atlantis. Like this is the moment that we are done with the old story that we've been recreating. And we are creating something brand new that's more based on the purity of the consciousness that we are.
We have another question, and this is from Alan. Can you pinpoint a Uranian time of ET open arrival on planet Earth? And I know that during before in the green room, you were talking a little bit about what's happening astrologically and why disclosure is happening now. So if you could repeat that for our general audience, please.
Yeah. So what was really cool, because the disclosure happened yesterday in like the wee hours of the morning yesterday, the moon went into Aquarius. And so Aquarius is the sign that is ruled by Uranus, which is alien, which is, alien. It's Uranus and Aquarius represent like a higher state of conscious, the higher mind, the divine mind, and connected to all things alien. That's where you see all things alien, right? Or cosmic consciousness too. So having the moon, it was like the moon went in to Aquarius and we were all emotionally ready for this disclosure. The moon quickly made a trine to Uranus, which is a positive angle to Uranus, and then it made a conjunction to Pluto and a sextile to Neptune. And it's like helping us to open up to this information. And then and a couple days before Pluto went stationed retrograde in Aquarius, which is us opening up to past information that is around the disclosure. As far as like what will bring like full disclosure, it's really interesting because what you were talking about in the green room, Scott, was the movie comes out on June 12th. And I think that you were saying that you heard that that's the next update in disclosure. And what I looked at the astrology for that day is that's the day that Mercury goes into shadow in Cancer, which is the sign of the moon. And it's really interesting because when Mercury goes retro, going into shadow means it's going into the period, the area that we're going to be reviewing information. So it's quite profound because I think that the Mercury will be fully out of shadow August 6th. So we may or may not get information during that time. If I had to make an informed hypothesis, it would be that sometime during Mercury either being shadow or in retrograde from June 12th to August 6th, there could be a significant release of information, and we could awaken more to what we already are in a true tangible information type of way.
Wow. Um, Susan Sapith is asking, what is your interpretation of squares and what is your interpretation of anaretic 29 degrees?
Yeah, so squares are their growth points. So I think about one of my my most profound astrological teachers. He taught me this analogy. It's like two cars coming to an intersection, right? And they both have to move forward at the same time. They're going to. And for a while they'll do this, and that's really uncomfortable because they just keep crashing into each other. But what a square calls for is a growth and an evolution. So this car needs to learn how to fly, and this car needs to learn how to tunnel underground because they have to learn and grow. So a square can be uncomfortable, but it's only if you're not willing to evolve. A square calls for an evolution of consciousness. So,
Beautiful.
um,
Thank you.
yeah, and 29 degrees is the anaretic degree of any sign, and it also comes with a degree of challenge, but it's because it holds the entirety of the energy of the whole sign. And it's like a mastery of that consciousness. So like 29 degrees of Taurus is a mastery of the Taurian consciousness. So you're called to like a greater responsibility of that state of consciousness at 29 degrees. So if you have any personal planets at 29 degrees, you're called to be a master of that and hold that consciousness in integrity. So it's really it's the most evolved you can be, but you're also called to a high degree of integrity, if that makes sense.
Beautiful. Well, Maggie, thank you so much for just this incredible presentation. It's been so inspiring. And I'm going to actually have our friend Connie make an edit just of your presentation so that people can share it with others. And we'll do that edit in the next few days and post it on our favorite segments list and send a copy to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. And I want to share, I'm just going to share in the link that anyone can book a 15-minute complimentary discovery call with me. And so I'll put a link to that in the chat. I'm really open to that, and I'd love to chat with anybody who has any further questions. So thank
That's
you
very
so much
kind.
for having me.
Thank you, Maggie, and give Magic a big hug and stick around. We still got a lot of amazing stuff that's going to happen tonight. So thank you for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me.
Love you.
Love you.
All right. Well, speaking of love, we all love Scotty Satori, and I'm going to bring her up here for a moment. And then we're going to have a cornflower song in a moment. But where are you, Scotty? Turn on your camera, buddy, so that I can find you. There he is. Hey, Scotty. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm in New Mexico right now, and my brother gifted me tickets to these healing sacred springs, Ojo Caliente in New Mexico. So, yeah, so that was nice. We went through Santa Fe. Now we're in Albuquerque, uh, with my cousins. So, and that was nice. I highly recommend that. It's in New Mexico, so and you just private message me, I can get you there. But so that was such a treat, and just everybody's been such a hard up to me and helping me out through this. I'm getting just love from everywhere, so I so appreciate it, and so thank everybody for everything. It's just incredible, yeah.
Well, we started this 10 days ago, and I see a lot of our people have donated already. Tiara, Connie, Carol, Lorna, both Carols, and on and on and on. Now, listen, it's at 4,928. We got to push it over 5,000 tonight. We got to do that. So I'm going to put into the chat box the link, and I'm also going to do the QR code in a moment. But everybody, come on, let's push it over the 5,000 mark. It's not going to take much to do that. Whoops, boy, I'm having all sorts of trouble there. But I'm going to put that link in the chat box in just a moment. And how wonderful, Scotty, that we get to have our beloved brother Cornflower. And I know you're a big Cornflower fan. So
I'm
it's
telling you,
perfect.
music will do it. Music will do it. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Cornflower and his music? What about it is
be prepared to dance. I just love Cornflower, and we've having it so long, and he's such a brother. Such a brother. So it's the love that comes through.
Thank you, Scotty. I love you so much, man. And I hope you feel every note of music and the space between the music just lifting you up and reorienting and transforming your life into this new chapter.
Nice. Love it.
All right, we ready to go?
Let's do it. Thank you, Cornflower.
Your ship is ready to blast off. All right, I love y'all.
And how are you doing, Cornflower? Before you start, tell us about you a little bit, how things are going for you.
Wow. Well, that's kind of a big thing to open up. Life
How's your
is
mom
very
doing?
full. Life is lifing for us all in our own unique ways. And, caregiving is definitely, I've hit like a 4.5 year threshold now and just did a big respite and went and took a break and went out to Vegas and blew off some steam watching the band Fish download some alien codes at the Sphere. And that was pretty amazing. So, I am just showing up every morning, waking up, put my feet on the ground, and bringing my heart into every situation as best I can. And I think that's where we do the biggest work, is in our direct circles in our lives, how we relate with one another, how we show up at the grocery store, and when we have a bill that's late, and when somebody cuts us off in traffic, and when the power goes down, and like, how do we respond? Just a lot of life moments happening and lots of opportunities to show up as love and be the vibration that we're all curating here at the Global Peace Tribe, Awakening World.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Cornflower. And I know we're about the mid-show point. The Hertalks are going to be on right after you.
Fantastic.
So this is going to wake us up. Let's all get ready to move and groove and dance.
All right, here we go. I love y'all.
Oh, there's nothing like cornflower. You are one unique dude. What amazing. Just amazing. And how perfect to have the cosmic cornflower on this show tonight, where we are all about what's happening with disclosure, astrology, just extraordinary. I remind everybody that you can find all things cornflower at cornflowermusic.com. And that's where you can learn about his shows that he's got coming up. You can check out his music, you can stream it. There's a lot going on. But I really want to encourage everybody, if at all possible, to join. Click where it says join, and you get your free song by joining. Put your name and email address in there. But join his program, just like we support Kristen Hoffman, we support Nina Gray, we want to support Cornflower. And if you do the monthly music subscription, that way he knows he's got a little bit of a monthly tune-in coming in. I'm going to accept your cookies there, Cornflower. So please do join now. It can be as little as $3.33 a month. I think I always come in at $11 a month. And I'll put that in after we hang up. I did that once before and said, Scott, your credit card information's there, so I got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Cornflower is going to close out our show tonight, so he'll be back. And between now and then, please join his program, join his music program.
And a quick addition.
Yes, sir.
Scott. Yeah, I'm playing only a few select shows this year. I'm only a total of 4. 2 of those are festivals. The first one is in June 17th through 21st in Edmonton, Kentucky. It's called Playthink Festival, and I'll be offering my concert experience, my sound bath, and my Yumi circle singing experience. And those are all very rare offerings on top of a year that's very slow for me because of my mom's care. And then the second one I'm really excited about is at the Ohm Festival in Arlington, Vermont, July 30th through August 2nd. And that's at theohmfestival.org. And if you put in Cornflower 10 when you're getting your festival pass, you get 20% off your ticket, which is basically a day for free. And that includes Liquid Bloom of Desert Dwellers, Sierra Marin, and Nico Suave and the Mothership, which features Cotter Ellis of Goose, the band Goose. So hopefully you all will be joining us. It's going to be a fantastic weekend of music, magic, and yoga, and a bunch of other presenters. Movement themed and wellness themed. So hope you can make it.
Beautiful. And I put that into the chat box for you, brother.
Thank you.
And as Tim puts it well, Cornflower, you are the medicine.
Oh,
So thank
that's
you
beautiful.
very, very much. Yeah. Well, there are certain books that are like the books of our time, the books that most of us have read that shaped the way we think. Autobiography of a Yogi is one. Richard Bach's books, Illusions is one for me, certainly. And one of the great books is The Keys of Enoch, written a long time ago by J.J. Hertog. Now, most of you probably know the story, but anybody who doesn't, J.J. had an extraordinary experience of being taken into another dimension where he was shown many things and had an expansion of consciousness. And he's been with us for decades, helping guide us along the way. And so when this amazing government disclosure happened yesterday, I knew there were 3 people I wanted to have on the show right away. Alan Steinfeld, who kicked us off, and JJ and Desiree Hertog. And God bless them both. They agreed to join us tonight. They have been around for quite a while. They are as knowledgeable about what's going on in the world as anybody. And so welcome, JJ and Desiree. Thank you for being with us. And please, what's your take on what happened yesterday?
Well, yesterday was a cosmic benchmark of great significance from the most important and most powerful country on Mother Earth, the United States, to the office of the president and the office of the Pentagon intelligence community began to acknowledge the real story.
So I'm going to share my screen. We have about, what, 15 minutes, Scott? I'm
Yeah,
gonna see if I
15
can
approximately.
see if I can get to what I really want, which is this and this. Can everyone see it? Yeah.
Yes, we see your
Okay.
screen. There it is, U.S. Department of War.
So the story is basically known as Pursue, which is what, Desiree?
Well, we're going to come up on that. So, as everyone should know, and I'm sure Alan's done even part of this, maybe we're duplicating Alan because he and I and JJ work together so well, that you can go now to warsally.gov and put in UFO, better than UAP. I don't know why they did that, but you can see it right there, war.gov UFO/UFO, and you will find about 160 documents and pictures that were released yesterday. Now, as Alan, Tim Spenny, and ourselves have all said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not everything. They're feeling it out. They want to see what's going on. And as Dr. Hertak
It's the
said,
presidential unsealing and reporting system for UAP encounters. In short, the realization that we are working directly with extraterrestrial and higher intelligence. And now has come the time to reveal the fuller story, to unseal the seals, if you wish, to use metaphysical language, to look at the big picture. And I am thrilled to look beyond the political spectrum to realize the implications will mean a new psychology, a new sociology, a new cosmology. We're not alone, but we are invited to participate in a larger galactic family of those who have gone beyond where we are in this galactic quagmire of simply being, shall we say, surrender to the 3- and 4-dimensional powers of Mother Earth.
so it's Operation Pursue. I don't know if they say operation, but we'll call it that. And Dr. Deck said what that was. Who's involved? The President, the Department of War, Director of National Intelligence, ARROW, which is the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, FBI, Department of Energy, which even Alan thought that was really strange. Like, why is the Department of Energy here? Of course, if they can teach us how to use something that doesn't require us going through the Strait of Hormuz, it'll be fabulous. And of course, NASA.
So this is the big Megillah. This is the whole team with behind the scenes at all levels. There's been acknowledgement of contact
And
well over 80 years.
Yeah, and of course, for you guys watching right now, it's better to show some of the pictures, and we'll talk about some of the NASA documents as well. But the FBI ARROW in late 2025 had this picture. If you go to the we'll say that website, you'll find it under photo B14, and it was seen in the western part of the United States. Now, as we'll all tell you, including Tim Spenny from UApedia.ai, that, you can't trust every single thing that's in there. They're just releasing things that they want to release. But it's interesting. I took the ability to put the FBI arrow on the top there, but all these documents have actually, we'll say, blacked out areas. This is the unusual one. This is
image enhancement analysis will show that this multi-pronged star-like object that is seen
over the Middle East,
right, has also been seen over the indigenous areas of North America. Now, the indigenous cultures believe the star nations are coming back to Mother Earth because we have violated Mother Earth. We're destroying our resources, i.e., we are looking at the demise of humanity within 50 years or less due to our consumption, our violation of environmental balance, and a lack of ethics for humanity. That's one side of the story of why these events are taking place. Another is that the astronauts that we have worked with are coming out of the closet, as we see here.
Right. Well, a lot of these are reports that, no one had all put together. Unfortunately, they have been somewhat put together now in this debrief, we can call it. And so these are the NASA missions mentioned in the report. Gemini 7, going back to 1965, where you hear the guy, if you really listen to it, it says bogey at 10 o'clock high. And he said it many times. So it's a matter of, what was that? I mean, 65, that's a long time ago, right?
Apollo 11 in 1969, Buzz Aldrin.
And Armstrong?
Knew and worked with.
Yes, we'll show you a picture of Buzz and Dr. Hertak shortly.
And then the important Apollo 12 and 17 were the actual pictures of large gargantuan vehicles.
Now, what's interesting is that Apollo 17, I believe, had Cernan in there, and Cernan was also in Apollo 10, and he was the one with Young who heard strange sounds. And one of the interesting things is, so they had this, when they didn't land at that point, they just flew in the backside of the moon. And basically they heard this whoo, and Young said, yeah, it sounds like space sounds. And of course, NASA just said, oh, it's equipment, having some problems and stuff. But I find it interesting, like astronaut Gordon Cooper, who was a friend of ours, he saw a flotilla of UFOs in 1951 over the border of East and West Germany. And what did they do? They made him an astronaut. So it tells you that there was clearly a lot of information known going back even to the Apollo program.
Here I'm talking with Buzz Aldrin. I'm in the foreground.
And they proposed a paper for a particular conference together. They knew each other quite well, we'll say. Sadly, he's 96 years old right now. And a lot of people still feel that, we didn't go to the moon. But we can tell you from both astronaut Mitchell to Buzz Aldrin and to others that we've talked to.
Even the Soviet cosmonauts, Pavel Popovich, that we knew from the Russian side that the Russians had seen unusual space objects, one of which interfered with the Phobos 2 mission in 1989. So by definition, we are enriched by our close relationship with explorers, with astronauts, with men of science, and having also worked behind the scenes on high levels of information gathering.
So Buzz told us from the time that they went off Earth into space, they were followed by lights. Some of these are mentioned now in this report. You don't have pictures at this point. And then when they were on the lunar surface, those lights, not aliens, but just lights, were there. So that's very interesting that he had said that. Now he's saying, oh, he didn't go. He's saying this thing, he's saying that. I mean, the guy he's 96 years old. But when he was in his right mind working with our associates and ourselves, he said, yes, they followed him. And there was an earlier, actually, TV program you can find that he describes this in detail. So now this is Apollo 12. This talks, you can see this is one of the pictures that has been released. And the people who were on the ground was Conrad, Bean, and Jordan, who remained in orbit. And you can see this unusual light. That isn't as impressive to us as actually Apollo 17, which is once again where Cernan, Harrison Schmitt.
Well, I privately talked to regarding cattle mutilations back in the 1970s.
So it's interesting, once they got back from Apollo 17, of course, he had, as I said, Cernan had already heard sounds on the backside of the moon, and they put him back on another mission. Harrison Schmitt did a whole program in New Mexico, which also probably extended even to Colorado, on cattle mutilation.
He was the last geologist on the moon, later became senator, a man of great wisdom, but also very discreet about what he would say publicly. So in essence, we have a high level of people in space speaking about the importance of the subject now.
So I have to say a couple of things. First of all, I don't think they understood back in the 70s who these aliens are. Why are they there? But the other more interesting thing is what you see up there is that you see 3 dots. And Dr. Jack, for a long time, and Uri Geller, who's also reporting on this, if you want to go listen.
It shows the specimens in his private museum in Israel.
Well, he did an AI.
With the picture of
Werner
von Braun was really the father to many of the astronauts.
But what's interesting, you see 3 dots, and Dr. Jack often said, and like I said, Uri did too, that they fly in a formation, like a triangular formation with 3 vehicles. That's how they maneuver together. So it's not unusual to see this. And it's to us, this is probably the best picture of the entire, we'll say, release documents. The star is interesting, the star vehicle is interesting, and some of the other things. And the documents come out from the 50s to 2025. They come out a lot in the Middle East, but also in Asia and in the United States. So it's all over the place. And I emphasized this when we were talking with Alan on something that we put out on New Realities, that, it's not that they're coming here now and they're going to land on the White House lawn the next 2 weeks. This information is from, many, many years of research all put together.
One of the most provocative pictures we see here that we were well aware of before the official release yesterday was the STS-75, where we looking at a singular tether that's been removed from a vehicle in space that's being visited by unknown smaller spacecraft.
Yeah, if you go Google, and this is not part of the release yesterday, but it really should have been. But if you Google STS-75 from the tether, you'll find the tether was mistakenly let go. And as it went out and they had to photograph it or film it, actually it was film, you can see all these lights going around. It's very similar to what Apollo 12 and Apollo 17 have said. I see, and even also Buzz Aldrin and Apollo 11, I see these lights, they're flickering, they're all over the place.
With the late Gordon Cooper said, they're as thick as fleas, quote unquote. So until you see the fuller film footage that was sent back to Mission Control, you begin to understand the words of Ben Rich. We're told now.
He worked at Lockheed Skunk Works, and he was telling Jim Goodall 1 week before he passed.
Jim, we have things out there in the desert that are 50 years beyond what you can possibly comprehend. If you've seen it on Star Wars or Star Trek, we've been there, done it, and decided it was not worth the effort.
Or decided it was not worth the effort. So yes, amazing that there's much more to come out. This is one of the things that we have to show people.
These are the smaller hovercraft the Air Force is working with engineers in Canada and the United States. But we're looking at intelligence vastly beyond this intelligence that can go 5 or 6 Mach, as opposed to this spacecraft that can barely make it off the ground.
And of course, it's all over the world. Dr. Hurtak's being seen here on BBC News from Brazil about 21 UFOs that invaded the Brazilian airspace. And in
1986, I was there. I got the pictures from the top levels and showed it with our NASA scientist that did not want to make comment on it, but you can see on the far left of the screen over 11 spheres, each one the size of a football field, in formation. And then on the right, my picture with respect to other researchers behind the scenes who were amazed that these interesting uninvited spacecraft encircled one of the nuclear facilities being built in Brazil.
Yeah, oftentimes, and I think that's why, I would just say, I guess to say why so many have been seen over Syria and the Middle East and Iran as well, in Iraq. But, I think that they are concerned with what we're doing. Now, who are they? Well, they are a variety of different extraterrestrial intelligences. So that's what makes it so complex. We say there's 3 reasons that there is no disclosure, although that's starting to end. The first is they've been covering it up for so long, and Roswell is coming up very soon next,
And secondly, because of the excellence of spacecraft that would give us interplanetary abilities and maneuverabilities.
The technology that we're gaining from it. And the third is the complexity of the extraterrestrials themselves. There's not one UFO that's coming and visiting. It's a complexity of everything from reptilians to, we'll say, those that look like us, which should be a shock to many people, but not your people.
But according to our colleagues, Harold Putoff with National Security and Russell Tarek, formerly of Stanford Research Institute, we have a plethora of information that's not coming out. So we're being prepared to fasten our seatbelts because this is going to be a roller coaster ride.
And every one of your team should look at The Age of Disclosure on Amazon Prime, and Marco Rubio's there and others who talk about this. So we just
I'd like to close with this
okay
message that was sent into space on Voyager number 1 many years ago. We cast this message into the cosmos. It is likely to survive 1 billion years into our future, when our civilization is profoundly altered and the surface of the earth may be vastly changed. Of the 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, some, perhaps many, have inhabited planets and spacefaring civilizations. If one such civilization intercepts Voyager and can understand these recorded contents, here is our message, quote, "This is a present from a small distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so that we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations. This record, namely of music sounds, represents our hope and our determination and our goodwill in a vast and awesome universe." One member of the Academy, Barrett Williams, was one of the instrumentalists that put this with Dr. Carl Sagan at his side on the record that was pressed and sent into outer space on Voyager 1.
And I just also want to say, because some people had rumors that ministers and reverends were brought together prior to this to make sure that their congregations were aware. And we've taught at various places as well regarding how this all relates.
For example, GTU, Graduate Theological Seminary.
And we simply say that the bottom line is extraterrestrials are closer to us than some of these cosmic dimensions. So there's just various layers. That's the cosmology of the Keys of Enoch, if anyone wants to see that. And the Pistis Sophia, one of our books, that there's many layers of intelligence out there. Extraterrestrials are our closest kin in a certain sense. And I think we're going to be part and sharing with them in the very near future.
So what's the bottom line? We're being prepared for cosmic citizenship. We're being prepared to use discernment to recognize those civilizations that will work with us and those that will support, we will call the warfaring aspect of human civilization that has now put us in an awkward circumstance of going forwards or backwards. And number 3, there is a spiritual component of consciousness we will call the divine spark that links us with those of the higher evolution, terminology of the Keys of Enoch, that of civilizations that have gone beyond the dualism, the galactic quagmire of not being able to handle our resources, the inability to have compassion for all humanity. We are on a roller coaster ride, but at the same time, it's a joyous experience of what the ancient sages called the opening of the stargates, the Sha'ari Ra. May we be blessed with this great music that we and others have shared from the east to the west, the north to the south, but let the music of our heart bring us joyfully into realization that we're not alone, that we are indeed part of the galactic community.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Global Peace Tribe.
Don't go away yet. I want to read some comments, and I also want to take people to your website. DR writes, "I know that when I read your book, The Keys of Enoch, I get transported into new mental and energetic dimensions." Ayada wrote, "I left my Keys of Enoch book in California when I had to leave quickly last year when my son was in critical condition. I'm so happy because a friend is traveling up here next week and is bringing the book back to me. I am so stoked."
Thank you so much, all of you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
can
so
always
much.
go to, as you said, keysofenoch.org. And please join us on YouTube and TikTok and Spotify now for our music.
There's a lot of amazing things going on. Their website's one of the most thorough websites you'll ever find. I mean, did you hear what Dr. Hertog was saying? 40 years ago, 1986 is when he was in Brazil and was part of that extraordinary experience 40 years ago. And so for someone like JJ and Desiree who've been doing this for so long, and by the way, I worked with Gordon Cooper in the 90s when I was producing television and we had him on the shows. But go to their website, keysofenoch.org. There is so much here. They, of course, are all about future science, bringing it now. So check out their teachings, their books, all the different things. And they travel all over the world. Contact in the Desert. We were promoting that earlier tonight. We're going to be there, of course. We're going to have Captain Ron on the show in a few weeks. So come meet us all at Contact in the Desert, everybody, and meet JJ and Desiree in person.
Yeah, Contact in the Desert is going to be so exciting this year because it's finally moving forward. And Dr. Jack lectured with Alan Hynek in the 70s at several places too. Anyway,
So we're all part of the Peace Tribe. The Peace Tribe gathers the other tribes. And suddenly this is a marvelous, stellar burst of inner love and divine experience coming together.
and we all need peace,
So be
right?
positive, be hopeful, no matter what the international media says one way or the other. We are ad astra, as the Greeks would say, to the stars.
Thank you so much, Scott, and everyone.
Thank you, Desiree and JJ, for being with us. God bless you both. Love you both so much. All right, that's a lot to integrate. And once again, we are blessed to have magnificent music with our beloved house musical artist, Omar Shar.
Now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Love is reaching through the hearts of me and you. Our world is waking up to our different points of view, cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. Truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark, and show each other what we can do, and let our light shine right on through, and let the good of humanity stay, and let the dross simply fade away, and let the mother return to us all, so that love can have her way. Cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark. Let's show each other what we can do. Let our light shine right on through, and let the good of humanity stay, and let the dross simply fade away, and let the mother return to us all, so that love can have her way. We've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Ba-da-da-da. Free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark.
Therese says it all. She says, Omashar, a prophetic piece indeed. You are a messenger for sure of cosmic wisdom through your music. Thank you. Namaste, dear Peace Triber. Said perfectly. And thank you to the Global Peace Tribe dance team. Welcome back to Susan Woolridge, who has got her Greek tan that she's carrying with her. So welcome back.
It's so enlivening and enriching watching everyone dance, because it's like the ultimate compliment. Thank you so much.
And those words, of course, are so perfect for, and he wrote those words long before government disclosure happened.
Dude,
so
we are in tune.
We are definitely in tune. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. All right. We've got a little bit left. And this next one is really important. You know, I'm so grateful for some of the work that people are doing. I mean, JJ and Desiree Hertuck, decades of gathering research and paving the way for us. And kind of the next generation of wisdom keepers are my friends with the Consciousness Club, who have created this extraordinary organization called UApedia. And Tim Spenny's a great guy. I've hung out with him in San Diego. And I did a pre-record. He wasn't available tonight live, but I did a pre-record with him a couple of days ago in anticipation of tonight's show. And he's going to share with you a little bit about the UAP Con that was on last Sunday. I watched it from beginning to end. I watched it from 10 a.m. till a little after 3 o'clock. It was terrific. And if any of you also watched it, put that into the chat box. I'd love to read that to people a little bit. I'm just so impressed with the work that they're doing. So anyway, this is a pre-record that I did with Tim, the founder of UAPCon, and he has a lot to share that's very, very important and pertinent. Here we go. Well, I'm really excited. I spent all day Sunday watching this amazing marathon of extraordinary speakers and thinkers talking about consciousness as it relates to UAPs, UFOs, disclosure, all those things that we're fascinated with. And you are looking at the man who makes it all happen. This is Tim Spenny. He is the co-founder of UApedia and the producer of the recent UAP Con. Now, I know a lot of you watched it on Sunday because we promoted it, and I saw that a lot of you were commenting on it. But for those of you who missed it, we're going to talk a little bit about it, and we're going to give you the ways that you can go back and watch and that you can become part of this incredible movement. I've been blessed to be following Tim kind of since they started. Let's start, Tim, with tell us about UApedia, how it began and what it has become.
Yeah, thanks so much, Scott, and thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate your support and promoting our event and the work that we're doing at UApedia. Look, UApedia is a trusted source of knowledge for the phenomenon. When we looked around, we saw a bunch of fragmented and dispersed content and data and information about the phenomenon all across the web. And if we went to like some of these sources like X or Twitter, or we went even to Wikipedia, we would see, disinformation or vandalism on Wikipedia and things that just weren't true. And so we thought, why don't we create this hub? And so what we've worked on for the last 6 months, we started this and launched it at the Soul Symposium that was held in Italy in November of 2025 is when we launched. We've created one of the largest repositories of knowledge around the phenomenon. It's basically a modern online encyclopedia that people can go to. They can look through our biographies, our movie reviews, our case studies, our dossiers, our investigative reports, and really, walk through the claims, walk through witness accounts, walk through what is being said. And we've created a taxonomy so that we can validate these claims and information that are out there. So there's some discernment in the work that we're doing. So it's been really fun putting this together. It's been a heck of a lot of work. But right now we have over 300 articles that have been read 250,000 times since we've launched. We're getting, roughly around 20 or 30,000 people a week coming to the website. So there's obviously this need for trusted information, and we're really trying to fill that within the ecosystem.
It's amazing what you've created. And since you talk about it right off the bat, I'm going to actually take people there so we can take a look at it. And it is uapedia.ai, uapedia.ai. And as we kind of tool around, right off the bat, make sure that you join, that and they've put all this together. And it's remarkable how many articles, stories. I remember hearing about Bob Lazar way back when I was producing a national broadcast television show on UFOs called The Paranormal Borderline. And we did a story on Bob Lazar. He goes way back. So it's uapedia.ai, making mountains of mashed potatoes. There's a nice call back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That's actually a point of view article that I wrote that speaks to why we do this. Why are we making mountains out of mashed potatoes? So it goes through, I don't know about some of your viewers, but this topic is so fascinating and so complex. You start, scratching at it a little bit, and then you end up, spending a bunch of time on YouTube or spending a bunch of time on our website looking through articles and things because it's just so fascinating. So why do we do this? So we wrote a perspective on that. And my co-founder, Eduardo, wrote a perspective on, why the Arrow disclosure was so limited and the work that they were doing was not very effective. So there's a bunch of opinion pieces and perspectives that we have on the website as well.
One of the things, I'm going to jump to your UAP con that just happened on Sunday. Just to reference, one of the things I really enjoyed was the conversation about high weirdness and the extraordinary strangeness that goes along with a lot of people's personal encounters. This fascinating fellow who's written a book about the relationship between owls and UFOs. I had never heard that one before. And then, oh my God. And then I think his name was Mike.
Mike Cleland is he's written a number of books on the intersection of owls and the phenomenon. And during the session at UAPCon, he talked about receiving, 1, 2, maybe 6 or 7 emails a day from people talking. Yeah, he has just a giant, and so a database. And so he takes those stories and creates, and writes books about this intersection. So it's a fascinating aspect, of the phenomenon, because there's so much high strangeness. It's not just UFOs. It's all types of paranormal activity, precognitive activity. You see apparitions. There's all types of high strangeness with cryptids. It goes on and on with what can happen ancillary to just straight UFOs. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I've enjoyed about your work. Now, Tim has produced 2 UAP con events, Con for Consciousness, really making the link between this phenomena and the rise of consciousness. And that's why I've enjoyed both of your conferences so much, because look, the show is the awakening world. So what matters isn't trying to figure out to create a new dogma around all of it, but to recognize that it is high strangeness, and each person's having their own unique experience to raise their consciousness. I did one of the very last, if not the last interview with Timothy Leary before he died. It was when I was working on a show called Strange Universe. And he was pretty far gone. It took him 3 hours just to get ready to sit down with, that was back in the days when we'd come in with all the camera crew and stuff.
Right.
And, but he had a fascinating theory, Tim. His theory was that our exposure to radiation would trigger within the human genetic system a rise in consciousness, that once we had created radiation, our consciousness would have to catch up with our technology. And exposure to radiation would trigger within the human species a very fast awakening, which was a fascinating and interesting, and I thought rather optimistic view of things. And in a way, that's what you're doing. You're, through your UAP cons and through very thorough research at UApedia, you're providing us with a very grounded look at a wide variety of experiences, all centered in how is this impacting and raising our consciousness.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's exactly what our mission is, to provide an on-ramp for people through a trusted knowledge base to expand their awareness and their perceptions about reality and ultimately raise their consciousness. So the UApedia website is that repository for people who are on-ramping to this to be able to have a trusted source. UAPCon, the intersection of the phenomenon and consciousness, is there to help people understand how the phenomenon can raise their consciousness through an expanded awareness perception. So what I mean by that is look, there's a lot of entry points to high consciousness. UFO is trendy, UAP is trendy. It's certainly fascinating, and that's why, we're making mountains out of mashed potatoes over there, right?
Yeah.
But there are many entry points. Someone can go to a psychic or a medium, and that psychic or medium knows things that they're grabbing from the field, and that can help someone expand their awareness and raise their consciousness. You could see a ghost, you could see a UFO, you could have a psychedelic experience. You could be a scientist working on quantum physics and realize, wow, a particle can be a wave and a particle at the same time. How could that be? So there's many entry points. You could have a spiritual experience. So what we want to do with UAPCon is bring those perspectives from experiencers, from scientists, from journalists, from researchers, documentarians, and bring that together and say, hey, what is this intersection? What have we learned? Why is this happening? What is the meaning behind all of this? So that when people start to expand their awareness, they have a sense of what's happening. It takes them out of isolation. It shows them that there's community around this and other people having these experiences. And, that's part of the work that we're doing. We're also developing a trivia game, which is a very whimsical way to help people learn about this topic, the phenomenon and UFOs. So we're about ready to have our Kickstarter on that. And that's really just our mission. We have the repository of information. We have the conference where we're talking out loud about things. We have the game. So there's a physical way to interact with this and learn. And, they're all related and all focused on exactly what you're doing here, Scott. And that's, raising and awakening people's consciousness.
Let's take a look real quickly at the UAP Con website. And it's exactly that. The actual URL is uapcon.com, uapcon.com. And they've now done two different versions, UAPCon 2, and just click Watch Now, and that'll take you to the one that they did on Sunday, which was amazing with Linda Bolton Howe, Danny Sheehan, Steve Bassett, Dr. Tara, Alan Steinfeld co-hosted, and of course, all of the people have been on our show multiple times. And then you can also go take a look at their original one that they did. And I guess if we go back here,
that's the past event up there. Yeah.
Go to past events.
Yeah. Over to the right. Yeah.
There we go. Click past event. And that's how you can go to the first one. And I tell you, I would really encourage people to listen to both. Both were really, really interesting. And both held my attention for the entire day. So these are wonderful gifts and wonderful offerings. And definitely send me the link to the game. I'll pre-order it myself because I think it'd be really, really fun.
I can kind of show you what it looks like here. I have
I
have a prototype. It kind of looks like a what do you call that? Like kind of like a filing cabinet with all the files inside. And then if you open up the box here, you're going to have individual questions, that look like this.
All right. So what's the first question you asked? And we'll see if I have
this is a government, and it is a classified. So there's 3 levels of difficulty: classified, secret, and top secret. So this is a pretty easy one. Which government agency does Arrow report to? A, the Department of Defense; B, the CIA; C, the DIA.
Well, I would imagine the CIA.
It's actually the Department of Defense.
It's
so what would happen in the game is you didn't answer correctly. It would go to the person next to you, and they could steal your points. If you collect 100 points across categories, you yell out disclosure and you win the game. So that's kind of how it goes. It's really fun.
Yeah.
We have some prototypes that we work through, and we've all played the game many times, and it's very, very fun. So.
Oh, that's great. Next time I come down to San Diego, let's organize a group of us to play the game.
I would love to do that. And one thing you mentioned, Alan Steinfeld. What we've also done with Alan, he has been the host of New Realities and certainly a prominent figure in the conference circuit, Contact in the Desert and otherwise. And so he has an archive of audio recording interviews from going back, 15, 20 years. These are really just an archive, kind of like, tapes that you'd find in your attic almost. And what we've done is we've gone through and we've cleaned all those up, and we've created a Spotify channel for Alan.
Oh, that's great.
Called The Archives of Alan Steinfeld. So we have 50 interviews published on Spotify, but we have in total 600 that we're producing for Alan. So it's just, these are a time capsule of interviews with people like Jacques Vallée, Alan Hynek, Travis Walton, just a ton of really great interviews. So we're doing that as well.
Do you have the link for that handy?
If you go to Spotify and search for The Archives of Alan Steinfeld, it'll pop right up.
Okay, great. And we're going to do,
by the way, absolutely send you a link. Yeah.
Our next show with Alan is going to be on Wednesday, May 20th. We're going to do a show with Alan previewing a Making Contact edition, previewing Contact in the Desert. And Captain Ron will be our special guest. And so.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we've been speaking with Ron about Contact and how we can partner there as well. So it's been really fun.
Do you have something fun planned?
I think we're going to do a trivia night there with the game. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I'm probably going to be there, so maybe I'll get a chance to play.
Oh, great. It'd be lovely to see you there always. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go one more time to the UAP Con. And my question for you is, you take a look at these amazing speakers that you had. This is, of course, we're looking at the very first one. Yeah. And if we go back, you'll be able to take a look at the one that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
For you personally, looking at these different speakers, who blew your mind the most? Who made the biggest impression on you personally?
Oh boy, what a tough Sophie's choice here. There's some really big names that were there. We had Linda Moulton Howe and Stephen Bassett, and of course Danny Sheehan were really, they're just masters of their domain, working in the space for multiple decades, each one of them. There was one person who I was a big fan of that was on, and I thought that they had a really good session, and that is Darren King, known as Exo Academian. Darren was on a panel with Mike Clellan, who you mentioned that does the research on owls. Darren King is a person who has a couple of podcasts. One is called Liminal Frames. The other one is called Point of Convergence. And he's a person who has influenced me a lot because he's had the ability to take disparate pieces of information and put them together to try to understand this phenomenon, such as synchronicities and meditative protocols, and what it means when, one person sees, there's multiple witnesses to the phenomenon, but people see different things. And so I think that Darren is a really fascinating listen. I recommend his podcast, but I'm a big fan of all the speakers. I arrange the speakers and put the panels together. So there's not a person on there I'm not a fan of. But I particularly have listened to hours and hours of Darren's podcasts, I should say. So I'm a big fan.
Great. Thank you. That's a good tip. My last question for you, how has your consciousness changed? Where were you when this started, and where are you today?
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. I went to Contact in the Desert 2 years ago. Well, three years ago this May. And it was I went there because I was in complete isolation. I didn't have anyone to talk to about this topic or anything. And I took a book with me from Art Bell. It's called The Quickening. And I brought it with me as an icebreaker so I could have the people that I ran into there sign the book as like a token. And going from that just a couple of years ago to actually having these people in the conference and working with them closely, as part of UAPCon is just, it's really beyond my wildest dreams. And at the same time, my consciousness, I practice a meditative protocol through the Monroe Institute, which basically puts your consciousness and body in superposition, where your body's one place, your consciousness is another. And so through that, I've really been able to, gain an understanding, a calmness, and my aperture for my awareness has really expanded dramatically. So, this thing about like finding your purpose and being in alignment, has really come from those meditations. And all of this work that I've done with UApedia and partnering with my co-founders and being able to, manage and produce UAPCon has been super easy. It's just been something that has unfolded naturally as part of this alignment through the meditative practices that I do and the way that I go through life. So it's, it's been an amazing elevation and evolution for me over time.
I love that you shared that, Tim, because you're modeling what happens when we really follow the divine flow, and when we are blessed to find our dharma, when we're blessed to find what it is we're uniquely qualified to do, and we are willing to put in the energy, put in the work, put in what needs to be done, it does just flow. It really is magical. It's absolutely magical. I experience that very much now with how my shows come together. Like at the exact moment somebody cancels, the same day I get a call from somebody else that actually is the person who really needs to be on that next show. Or, or three different people that don't know each other will all suggest a date, and then I bring them all together and they all have this magical experience together. Or we all discover some unique synchronicity that none of us knew was even there. It's really kind of wonderful how more and more we're experiencing magic and miracles and synchronicity.
I couldn't agree more. For me personally, when I've, started on this path, I felt like I was starting to live a really magical existence. And I think that that's a natural consequence of raising your consciousness.
Yeah.
So.
Tim, thank you so much. I'm just going to go one more time to the main site. Everybody, if you haven't already, go to UAPedia.ai, and definitely make sure that you join. And there's lots of ways you can do it. Just click the join button here on the right-hand side. You don't have to pay anything, although, I sure hope people will be generous in supporting them. And look at all the different ways you can participate. You can help by creating reviews, writing articles, helping with marketing, doing what I'm doing right now, support media, being part of the archive, or being part of the research program. So there's a lot of different ways to play. It's just getting started. We're going to get it. Imagine if you had gotten on the ground floor of Wikipedia, whenever that started 15, 20 years ago. This is the ground floor of what we are all about, which is consciousness and connecting the dots to the remarkable things going on in our awakening world. Kim, thank you so much. You are a prince, and I'm so grateful to know you personally and to be watching with admiration and respect what you're creating.
Absolutely, my pleasure, and thank you so much for having me, Scott. It's a thrill to be on the show, so appreciate your support.
Great. Well, we'll have you on again, I'm sure. Take care, buddy. When you go there, you'll be amazed with how thorough it is. I mean, there's a lot that they've accumulated. And I was really happy to see how many of you participated in UAPCon last weekend. And for those of you who missed it, definitely go watch the replays. They are fascinating. All right, we still have prayer time coming up with Diara, and then a final cornflower song. So I'm going to turn it over to Diara. Take it away.
Thank you, Scott. Whew, just absorbing all these beautiful cosmic energies, all the excitement that we feel here with our feet on this beautiful earth, and the connection that's ever expanding into the cosmos. I'm taking in that beautiful descension energy that Maggie Ann talked about, how we're taking in the starlight into our bodies, taking in the expansion of our connection to that which has always been and yet perhaps never seen, and gently expanding the capacity of our minds, our bodies, our spirits to be able to absorb more of these energies coming in ways that are gentle. We're asking our bodies to let go of any resistance to these changes to mitigate the ascension symptoms. And we're asking that our hearts open more and more to optimal love, understanding differences, releasing the egoic attachment to our way of seeing, our way of being, while holding our sovereignty and yet allowing room for others' sovereignty to exist side by side. And we speak of this for all of life on earth, all of life beyond earth. And here on this earthly plane, we pray for peace. We pray for health and healing. We pray for all of our Global Peace Tribe members who aren't able to be here physically in the Zoom room when they listen, knowing that they're loved and held. And we invite others in as we expand out. And just allowing our conscious mind to continue to evolve so that we can see beyond the physical eye, that we can see the magic and the miracles and the synchronicity, to recognize them in their smallest form and to support them in their largest form as well. Blessings to the inner circles of love that you ripple out, Scott, that we magnify. And just leaving room now for silent prayers to come into this beautiful cauldron while we expand and amplify. Just letting your hearts pour out the longing, the desire. Letting your bodies receive the love. letting your crowns open to receive more of this glory. And we know that we are the foundation for the change. We hold the integrity of this step, these stepping stones. So much love for all the musicians here tonight. And now we get ready to take all of this and blast off even further. And so
Thank you very much, Diara. Thank you so much. And we're going to go to Cornflower in a moment, but I do want to point out a couple things. I'm starting the relationship mastery course. We did our first course, the kind of the preview for people who are interested in the course this morning. Omashar and Tiara and a few of you were there. And if you're interested in taking the course, please send me a text message, and we can discuss how you might participate. It's going to be another 14 weeks. It's a total of 15 weeks. We started today. All the ones are recorded. So if you miss being with us live, you can get the recording. Life is relationship. If you want to change your life, change your relationships. And we got the goods of how to do that. And then I always like to let people know what we've got coming up. And on Wednesday night, it's another edition of Authors That We Love. And we actually have 4 authors who are going to be with us. And each one is written a book that you're going to find interesting about consciousness or about all things awakening world. And of course, Omar Shah will be with us providing 3 musical offerings. So please join us on Wednesday night. And thank you again for supporting Scotty's story. And we love you, Scotty. And thank you to our presenters, JJ and Desiree Hertog, Alan Steinfeld, Maggie Engel Bernstein, and our beloved Omashar. And now to conclude, turn it back over to that magic man, Mr. Cornflower.
What's up? What an amazing show, Scott.
Oh.
Thank you so much for calling me in again.
And, Cornflower, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, it's truly an honor to be here. I've been dancing around the UAP work since I was 7. So this is it's always fun to get to be a part of the crew here when we drop into that conversation. So to let some of those beings make some music for you, I'm going to open up and see what happens. So your spaceship is about to blast off.
All right. Amazing. So good to see all of you moving and grooving. So good to see Magic with his beloved Maggie. Good to see you, brother. And thank you, Maggie, for, again, the most inspirational astrology reading possible. Cornflower, thank you for blasting us off into the stratosphere. Thank you, Omashar, for all that you do, DR as well. And hey, everybody, you did it. We cracked the $5,000 mark, just barely, but we did it. In less than 2 weeks, we raised over $5,000 for Scotty Satori. And so I'm really, really happy about that. Thank you, everybody, for your amazing support and donations. And remember to keep Scotty in your thoughts and your prayers, holding the vision of absolute radiant health for our beloved Scotty. Love all of you. Have a wonderful Sunday tomorrow. And I hope to see you next Wednesday night for our next Awakening World. Good night,
Love you
everybody.
all.
Thanks again, Cornflower.